What is up, everybody? Welcome to Tooth and Tail Championship 2020.2. I am Delthius. How's it going, guys? I am doing well. We've got a Premier Division quarterfinal match here today. I'll hop on over to the standings real quick. Looks like Gentleman and Mochaccino have already advanced, as well as Araloo. So we are fighting here to see between Mishi and Melvin, or the best of 9, who will go up against Araloo on the right side of the bracket for the semifinals coming up sometime soon. Afterwards, we've got some quarterfinal matches from the Beginners League between Ken and Boomer. All these matches today are live, so that's pretty cool. And I've got this lovely new UI created by Dizon that's really fun and awesome. Definitely recommend grabbing it if you are one of the Tooth and Tail casters. And yeah, I think we're about ready here. Let me go ahead and tell the players they're good to go. And we'll hop into this. Lots of matches today, guys. Best of 9. It's quite good for show matches. Can be a little bit rough on the players for the stamina, you know, but at the same time, Tooth and Tail matches are pretty quick, so it's not super bad. And yeah, let's see how this plays out. One thing that's always interesting in long matches like this is, do you have a bunch of decks prepared? Are you going to try a bunch of various builds with the same deck? Or are you thinking, all right, I've kind of downloaded my opponent in the first few games, and I'm going to shift gears and try to counter them, even though that's not necessarily what I normally play. So there's a lot of various ways the players can go about getting this going here. So let's take a look, man. Mishi is a longtime favorite, and Melvin Fro has been around in the scene for quite some time as well, but has really stepped up his game lately. Mishi's kind of always been one of the top dogs, and Melvin's nipping at his heels here. And let's see how well Mishi's prepared. The thing about Mishi is he's one of those guys who comes in and out and, will show up for the tournaments, swoop in, win the glory, win the prizes. But let's see if he's actually been practicing a lot lately for this. In the bottom left, we've got Mishi. And his opponent up top, Melvin Fro. Alright, let me just make sure while this game gets going. Everything looks good in OBS, I believe so. Yeah, everything seems fine. Levels seem alright. And yeah, I'm pretty hyped. And guys, we're going to have a special feast next Friday. Well, the Friday coming up, I suppose. Where the Gentleman is going to come on and co-cast with me and talk about his new events. So that's going to be a lot of fun. 3-minute matches with the mole meta. Yeah. Alright, speaking of moles, we do have Mishi with some moles here. And Melvin with a quick Tier 1 Warren. However, he did block it with the queued up farm, so maybe that's just kind of a preliminary defense against some kind of mole aggression. It's not the biggest deal in the world to delay your economy just slightly to do that. It used to be very standard way back in the day when we had another really mole-heavy meta, just different types of moles, where you essentially had to open up like 5-farm Warren, or else you could just die. So kind of cool to see that just a little bit here, and I do always love that decision making between, do I queue a farm and try to save that $60 on the squirrels, or do I let the squirrels come out and try to get a couple of them together so I can go pressure the opponent? Both players just kind of scouting about. Looks like, yeah, they've both identified all the economic structures on the map here. Mishi gonna go for an 8-farm double expand, and this is kind of a short rush distance here. Without anything like turrets or barbed wire on the front line to help reinforce this, if Melvin feels a little froggy here, maybe he can move out, but it looks like Melvin just wants to take his own expansion, and ooh, look at this, the sell from Mishi. But then the retake, and maybe a sell again? No, he's gonna keep it this time. Oh, I think that was in response to Melvin selling. I think I missed that a little bit. But this, if I'm Mishi this game, I might be okay to try to play a little bit of a longer game, but hold that thought. Mishi wants to come in, he sees a gristmill from Melvin, he's building up the moles, he's going to try to bust here. But Melvin really doesn't have a good third base option. Trying to take this base is just too close to Mishi. So if Mishi played this one out, he'd have access to a lot more economy than his opponent, but he's moving in already. Those moles doing their jobs and knocking out those Warrens here. And this looks like a practice Mishi, man. Mishi looks up to par, really hip on the new meta. You know, utilizing these moles like this is definitely a new style here that, you know, last time Mishi was really active, the moles didn't quite work this way. So very good, you know, punch over to Melvin. Melvin's got a little bit of a bloody nose here. He lost a Warren, he lost a pig, and this is looking real bad. You know, maybe Melvin, if Mishi overextends, or maybe if Melvin can, like, sneak out a farm or two, but even trying to do that when you're up against, you know, this kind of mole aggression from Mishi is very, very worrying. And let's see how Mishi wants to go about it. He's actually just going to hang out. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to overextend. I'm just going to go ahead and take it into the mid-game with an advantage. You know, he's got the skunks on the way, so does Melvin. And I wonder if Mishi's going to wait for both skunks or move out when the first skunk is ready. Actually sold off that farm. I think that farm was pretty crucial, but at the same time, he's up a farm already. And Mishi's blocked on that skunk, though. That's kind of bad. There it goes. Now Mishi's going to build up some farms and just try to compound this lead into the mid-game. You know, you probably could have made an argument that he might have been able to just slam in there and finish Melvin off, you know, after dealing that damage early on, taking out that Warren, taking out that farm. But I guess Mishi just didn't want to risk overextending. Melvin's going to get out the couple skunks quicker and actually not being shy at all on starting to saturate up this second base. Going right up the 5 farms, realizing he really can't fall behind on economy to get back in this. And Melvin's actually going to initiate here. He's moving in on Mishi. Mishi's commander not quite in the right spot at the beginning of this engagement, but gets home just in time. He's able to push Melvin back for now. And yeah, it looks like we're going into a mid-game here. And again, you know, this map is very Mishi favored, unless Melvin can somehow get over here and take these bases. But I'm not so sure I see that happening. I think all this real estate really belongs to Mishi. So we got a little bit of a lull this game, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Like I said a little bit earlier, next Friday night we will do a regular feast here, get to some of the replay submissions you guys have been sending me in good numbers, so I really appreciate that, guys. And we're going to hype up and talk about Gentleman's new tournament coming up soon, kind of just in time for this one wrapping up. And here we go, big attack coming in from Mishi. Trying to get those skunks down, but managed to get most of the other tier 1, and this looks really good for Mishi. Melvin doesn't have a whole lot left. He's trying to get up to quadruple skunk, which is phenomenal against this style with so much tier 1, but I mean, Mishi is just so far ahead here. I really think the follow-up attack just kind of comes in and slams through. Oh, maybe Mishi's thinking about a tier 3 here. Going for the boar. Alright, so he's going to give Melvin a couple more minutes. He's going to wait for this boar, and he's going to try to push with that for the win. And this is rough for Melvin because you're feeling like the follow-up attack's going to come in, right? So, you know, Melvin's most likely not going to commit to a tier 3. And it's going to be hard for him to get that deep scout he needs in order to identify Mishi is indeed going for the boar. And at this point, it's almost too late. Like, even if he scouts the boar, the best thing he could do maybe would try to get some falcons up and running for the 60-second build time. So he's still going to poke and prod here. Ooh, almost losing a skunk there. And the boar is ready to roll. Nice sell by Mishi to make sure he doesn't block that production. Ooh, and Melvin is going to commit to the boar, so he does realize, alright, if Mishi's not attacking me by now, he must have a tier 3 coming, but I don't think that was right because his boar is just not going to get up in time. You know, as long as Mishi moves out right when his boar is finished, which it looks like he's going to since he's throwing down more tier 1. You know, I think Melvin might have been better off throwing down the falcons. And Mishi's about ready to push in for the win. And keep in mind, if this doesn't work out for Mishi, he can still go to a third base. But I really don't see Melvin holding this. You know, the little victories Mishi's been taking throughout the game have kind of compounded, and now his army seems pretty dang strong. I mean, Melvin does have 4 skunks, which you really can't underestimate, especially with so many pigeons, but, you know, all the tier 1's going to get roasted by the boar. And let's see, yeah, Melvin knows what's up, taps out. And Mishi, with the 1-0 lead so far in this best of 9 series. Okay, so all I have to do is that, and then that, right? Oh, dude, this tool from Dizon. So good. So good. Alright, let's hop into game number 2 here. See what kind of adjustments these players want to make. Looks like Melvin gonna tech into those snakes and owls here. And Mishi is keeping the same deck. Ooh, a little bit of a more even map here. Over on the right side, we've got Mishi. Over on the left, we've got Melvin. And I like this late game for Melvin. And this does seem like a map. It's kind of hard to tell because it feels like a late game map to me. Even though it's kind of small and the main bases aren't that far away, there's a little bit of this awkward ramping and environment in between the 2 bases. This nice little river here. You know, it's kind of awkward to try to get up onto the opponents with all these walls. You have to run all the way around on the bottom. But, you know, honestly, this map is, like, super balanced. Both players have access to several gristmills. Yeah, sure, there's this one at the bottom that probably goes to Mishi, but do we ever really get to that point where we're going to gristmill number 5? Not very often. And Melvin's got the snakes here, which are going to be able to poison down that boar. And he can get into the owls in the ultra late game. So I do like this late game comp from Melvin. However, I do think Mishi's comp is a bit better for the mid game. You know, he might be able to still push in with the boar and punch through with the moles. You know, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. And yeah, look at this, Mishi doing a little bit of mole harassment here. He's just going to force the sell on this back farm. Melvin going to wait till the last second, it looks like. Going to go ahead and do a little mole dance in the early game. Mishi losing just 8 food there, but does significantly slow down that farm. We're going to go into some second bases, so. Now this is where Mishi, if he wanted, since he has moles, he can sell off his second base and just push in with moles and really try to punish the opponent, but no. He's just going to hang out. It does look like Mishi wants to take this into a macro game here. And let's see what Melvin's response is. You know, 2 farms right there this early on. Without the moles, it is a little bit hard to punish it. So yeah, I do like this for Melvin. He's going to go ahead and match suit. So scouting in this phase of the game is very critical. You just want to try to keep up. And you can see there Mishi kind of pretending like he's going to build more farms. He's hoping to try to force more farms out of Melvin while he comes in with this mole attack here. And Melvin is just going to barely see these squirrels moving out, so he knows what's up. That was a very important scout. He can sell off a farm or 2. He can build some more warrens here and try to hold for impact as Mishi is moving in. And with these moles, you know, it's really difficult to hold this cost effectively. You know, almost no matter what, these moles will at least kill a warren. Here comes Mishi. He's going to leave with those moles to try to get that burst down onto the warren. It does work indeed. But if Melvin cleans this up in high enough numbers, it could compensate for that loss. But look at this. These moles getting in, almost connecting with a second warren. But Mishi, a little bit greedy here. And that's what I was talking about. That's the way you can really do well with this. If Mishi would have pulled back after he got that first warren, he would have been very far ahead. But he got greedy. He wanted to go in and kill that second warren, and that overextension allows Melvin to counterattack here, and that just might be it. I don't think Mishi can really muster up enough defenses, and he's already taken so much damage. 2 farms gone already. You know, if Melvin knocks out a warren as well, he's really trying to target that down, but these moles are starting to clean this up, but so much counter damage here from Melvin. Yeah, Mishi just smelled blood in the water there. And what's rough about those mole attacks is, especially in situations where you overextend, I mean, you lose so much tempo because you have all this money invested in mole warrens that you have to sell, right? Whereas your opponent has a comparable amount of tier 1 warrens, but they're just ready to roll. So you got to run home, you got to sell those mole warrens, you got to desperately build up some more tier 1, and that gives your opponent a nice little window to get in there with more units and get some damage done. So Mishi taking some punches there. Losing 2 farms and a warren, and probably not taking a cost-effective trade. However, he did okay on that first attack. You know, he got the warren. I think he did trade pretty effectively. But overall, Melvin is definitely ahead this game. This isn't crippling damage, though, for Mishi here. Like, Mishi can still totally win this. And if I'm Mishi, I'm kind of wanting to delay the game, you know. Just let it go on longer and longer, and that'll make that difference less and less. As more and more food gets harvested, you know, that difference in food, that percentage goes down. But Melvin's going to come in at the right time here with a follow-up attack. And let's see if Mishi can manage to hold this. 2 farms going down already, and Melvin with a good micro there, keeping both skunks alive. That's really what he needs. He got the job done. If he can run away with these 2 skunks, which looks like he's going to. Mishi desperately trying to pick up that skunk on the retreat, but man, that went great for Melvin. He got 2 farms, he kept his skunks alive. Can't even really ask for better than that. He's going to try to attack into owls. I'm not so sure I agree with this. I think if he just keeps the pressure on, he'll just run over Mishi. And it looks like he's going to do both. He feels like he's so far ahead that he can afford putting that 360 food into that tier 3 unit, and at the same time keep the pressure on and keep trading. Mishi losing a couple skunks here. Melvin, I was going to say, he's got to be careful. His commander is getting really low. When the commander goes down, this is a good opportunity to try to come back, but Mishi just doesn't have the units. He does manage to pick up a skunk there and keep his skunk alive, which definitely was the result of the commander death. But Melvin's got the owl on the back end here, and Mishi has not had an opportunity to really get in there and scout. But Mishi does have 4 skunks, and those will help clean up those owls, but I don't think Mishi can even compete with the army Melvin has right here, right now, let alone when that powerful tier 3 unit hits the board. And here we go, another attack. I think Mishi actually sold that farm. Yeah, he sold both those farms there. But Melvin is still taking favorable trades. He's still denying the economy from Mishi. And keep in mind, Melvin does have that fully saturated second base. And this final attack from Melvin should be able to break the back from Mishi here. I think Melvin's just been compounding too much damage all game long. Mishi's probably thinking to himself, damn, you got an owl too? And he taps out. Melvin fighting back in match 2, tying it up 1-1. Let's see what the choices are this game. Melvin really changing this up. I love that. And I love Cam, Falcon, Wolf. It's a really fun comp to try to pull off. Mishi thinking about what he's going to get going here. Lizard Toad. Maybe thinking about bringing out the lizards this game. Okay. Some significant changes to the compositions from both sides. Spawning on the left, we've got Mishi, and his opponent to the right, Melvin Fro. Ooh, right. So Mishi's got the turrets, which is kind of cool. Like, turrets plus cams can really hemorrhage your opponent, but I think the problem for Mishi here is that there's no real good base to try to set that up from. I mean, I guess maybe, you know, if we get into a mid-game with both these bases as, like, the seconds, you know, throw in some turrets here out in the middle. Might not be bad. But overall, I like Melvin's composition if this gets to a late game better. You know, the Badger is just what the Doctor ordered to fight the Owl. Mishi does have lizards, which can kind of help against the Badger, but the cams will really dunk on the lizards. So overall, man, if Melvin gets to that late game, you know, his army is going to be pretty damn strong. Badger, Wolf, Cam, Falcon. It's no joke. I like to run a similar comp to Melvin, except for I take Fox instead of Badger, of course. Melvin with the 8-farm Warren, super standard, super safe. Mishi probably going to follow up, 8-farm double. There it is. Yeah, 8-farm doubles for both sides, and probably going to go into some quick second bases again. Ooh, Mishi actually building up a lot of lizards, and this map is actually pretty good for lizards. You know, Mishi could try to swing in this way. Maybe pick off a pig or a Warren or something like that once Melvin's kind of more established up here on the second. It's always fun getting some early game lizards out and about. Nice harassment tools. You got to be careful, though. If you lose too many of them running around, you do open yourself up to a nice counterattack. That's why I like to go like 6 or 9 lizards, yeah, then start building squirrels. That way, you know, if you lose a lot of lizards with your attack, well, you've got some squirrels waiting at home for that counter. And look at this, Mishi dedicating this turret style. He takes that 12 o'clock base, and Melvin hasn't noticed yet. Melvin going for the cams. Mishi's going to come in and get that scout, I believe. He saw the tier 2. And I don't think Melvin quite, you know, realizes food is missing. It's only 60 food, but now it's 180 food up here on this top base. So this time around, Melvin should be able to come in and scout and say, hey, you're missing something. You got something somewhere. But he's not really even going to have the chance as he sees Mishi running out with his lizards. Looks like Melvin is getting in position for the defense. He knows that southern area is probably what is most most exposed. Yeah, Mishi gonna try to run in, but excuse me, Melvin is in position there. What I'd love to see Mishi do is like start building turrets up here, and then using the lizards to harass on the south, right, to buy time for the turrets. Then again, I guess it only takes like what 10 seconds to build a turret. But this is a powerful army out of Melvin, man. I don't know if Mishi can handle this. He did invest in those couple farms earlier on, and pure lizard against Squirrel Cam. And Mishi knows he doesn't want to fight this. He knows he's got a tier 2. He knows this must be Cam since he hasn't seen anything else. And he's just going to go straight up for the base trade. However, Melvin is running back to try to deal with this. Great play here from Mishi. Even though he loses a lot of his lizards, he's almost GG on Melvin. And Melvin did not commit to the base trade. He tried to come home and save, so that was pretty bad for Melvin. If Melvin would have knocked out most of Mishi's main, he might be in good shape. But now Melvin knows, all right, I gotta protect the second base. He's gonna leave the cams there, but are the cams gonna be able to kill these lizards fast enough? I don't think so. Oh, it's so close. Melvin is now starving, but he's got a hell of an army lead. He's not knocked out just yet. He did rebuild that gristmill. And Mishi's got so many farms, but he really doesn't have an army right now. Trying to muster up his lizards again. This is like old school style play. I love to see it from Mishi, man. You know, I often talk about in casts, like if you have lizards, it opens you up to be able to do this sort of thing. We just don't see it as often nowadays. And Mishi's still just running rampant. I like this for Melvin. He split his units. He's got the squirrels on the offense, trying to deal with Mishi's base while he keeps the cams in the back to deal with these lizards. But Mishi's just trying to play ring around the rosy with these chameleons, man. Just running them all over. Mishi's main base goes down, but he still has that 12 o'clock. Well, Melvin's defending this pretty nicely. He actually lost most of his squirrels, and as long as Mishi can just keep Melvin starving, he almost starved out right there. If Mishi would have targeted that farm, I think he just would have won the game. Like, Melvin has no food. He has to sell these squirrel warrants. Oh, this is becoming a really sick match. I want to see another gristmill from Mishi, though. If Melvin finds this mill at the 12 o'clock and just knocks it out, I mean, that's game. Mishi comes in again. Taking out that warren is so huge right now. Melvin literally has no money. Mishi's managed to get back up to 12 lizards, but 12 lizards are not going to do well against 4 cams. Mishi's still got the economic lead. He's got 2 pigs. But man, I think Melvin could just attack. I don't think he wants to risk it, but I think that's the play. Like, these lizards aren't going to be able to stop the chameleons. This is very rough from both sides, for sure. You know, whatever decision you make is going to make or break this game. This is so greedy for Mishi. I'd love to see like a turret on that high ground or something. Mishi gonna go ahead and try to knock out this mill over here, maybe? No, he's gonna loop around. He wants to get that bacon, but Melvin's units are in position. It looks like Mishi just wants to win this game by getting ahead in farms. However, Melvin is starting to catch up. These 4 chameleons is all he needs to really punt away the lizard harassment from Mishi here. And again, Mishi just trying to bait Melvin's units away, trying to just work down this gristmill, try to utilize a faster movement he's got out of these lizards. And since Mishi's hard committing on economy, he's just keeping Melvin busy. Like, he's trying to prevent Melvin from attacking him. Mishi's actually bluffing quite a lot here. Because if Melvin attacks, I keep saying this, but if Melvin attacked Mishi's main, I don't think Mishi could do anything. And Mishi's just trying to keep Melvin back. Like, hey, the second you move out, I'm gonna kill your base. Yeah, that single turret going down for Mishi. Ooh, picks off a pig there. Very nice. Melvin might be thinking about the counterattack now. I'd love to see another turret even. 2 turrets. Could really, really help defend here for Mishi. Or more units. Yeah, he's going to go into Falcons. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Those Falcons will be able to gun down the cams if Melvin does decide to pull the trigger. This time around, these lizards might be able to take out this mill. No, nice defense again from Melvin. And Mishi's done a really good job of stalling this game out. You know, he's got that farm lead. He's slowly starting to be able to build units again. But great play from Melvin too, like not just straight up dying here. Now the Falcons are out. You know, he's only got 1, but there's only a couple squirrels here. So these Falcons are really pretty much invincible. You know, if Mishi can kill those couple squirrels, really nothing can hit these Falcons. Oh, but this one Falcon is about to die to the squirrel. Oh, that is huge for Melvin. Good engagement for Melvin there. He only loses 1 cam. He kills a Falcon. But now there are no squirrels left. Melvin desperately trying to build some more. As a single Falcon starts gunning down farms, Mishi playing such a great game here. Really needs that second Falcon, man. The DPS of those 2 combined will be huge. And I think at this point Mishi's got this, you know. Let's see if Melvin can pull a rabbit out of the hat, but you know, he's taken economic damage. Mishi was able to spring back up on economy a lot faster than Melvin was. Melvin's going to try to commit onto this turret, but I think that's exactly what Mishi wanted here. And I think that's going to be it. Melvin's going to tap out. Mishi with a very technical takedown here in game number 3. Let's see what these players decide to do for the next match. Oh, Mishi requesting a quick break. Yeah, we'll take a little bit of a breather, not too long. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a minute. Alright, I am back, but I think Mishi still needs a minute or two, no problem. Thanks everybody again for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. Got some really good matches here. We're going to hop into quarterfinals of the Beginners League after this. And we're going to have some big announcements on Friday, guys. We're going to have another feast, so go ahead and keep sending me those replays as usual. And the gentleman's going to come on and talk about his new event, which is going to be really exciting. All right, looks like the players have decided on their decks here for game number 4. And let's get into this. On the right side, we've got spawning in Melvin Fro, his opponent to left, Mishi. Okay. A little bit of a weird map here. I like it better for Melvin, but I guess Mishi can't complain too much. Easy 3 bases right here. Take a 4th up top. Again, he's got these turrets, which could be useful, you know, coming in like the center of the map. Are these the same decks from last game? I think so. Well, Melvin changed it up. Melvin is running the Snake Owl combo. But I believe Mishi's running the same thing he did last time, or very similar. Yeah, let's see how these guys want to take it. No moles this game, so no early shenanigans, no opportunity to really take advantage of a small lead. I think that's what moles do very well in this modern meta. You know, once you just get like slightly ahead, you can use moles to steamroll the rest of the game. But I'm actually excited for a match with no moles here, just to see how these guys play out without that capability to just rail your opponent down. Looks like we might have another macro game. These players do like to at least get their second bases up and running. We don't see a lot of one base play. Mishi gonna go right ahead and queue up 3 farms on that expansion. Melvin not so far behind. I think both these players like to be greedy. They like to get up a lot of farms on that second base. Melvin's going to come in and C3. He's going to come home, probably get up to 4. And meanwhile, Mishi is still pumping. Pumping up more farms. Actually builds a turret there. That is a little bit weird. Maybe Mishi's going to try to utilize this turret to just straight up go to 16 farms, but Melvin could just follow suit without the turret. Well, that's exactly what we see. So to me, the big decision, there's a lot of ways a game can branch off at this point, you know. Do we see the players continue with their greed into 3 bases? Do we see the players go for a whole bunch of tier 2, which is the most common thing to do at this point, you know, build up 3, 4 tier 2 Warrens? Or do we see someone try to get up that tier 3? Mishi's gonna go ahead and grab that 3rd base. And so far, Melvin hasn't really committed to much. There's the 3rd. Maybe gonna go into owls? No, goes into snakes. Good scout here for Mishi, nice and thorough. And there's the owl. Owl from both sides, actually, yeah. Very similar timings. Yeah, almost identical. So these guys really understand how to play these kind of macro games. When you can get away with, you know, taking a tier 3 without your opponent just running you over. And is Melvin gonna get the tier 3 scout? Doesn't look like it. And neither does Mishi. So neither player knows yet. But again, I mean, you should expect it at this phase of the game, right? We haven't had any big engagements. We've got 3rd bases pumping. You know, it just kind of makes sense to throw down your tier 3 at this point. And this is really interesting because Mishi's got cams, but Melvin has skunk snake. So the cams will do a really good job in the front line, but keep in mind Mishi also has lizards. And lizards do really, really good. He hasn't built any this game, but they do really, really good against literally everything in Melvin's deck besides the owl. So that could be a factor. I mean, he's up to 23, 24 farms now. I'd love to see him just pump out some lizards. And so far, I think Mishi is navigating through this late game a little bit better. He's got that eco lead. He's got a pretty comparable amount of tier 2. But my favorite, this is one of my favorite parts of Tooth and Tail, is after these big armies clash, if nobody just straight up wins, like, what do you go home and sell? There's so much decision making there. And here we go, here's a big first fight. And so far these cams are doing a good job of pushing Melvin back. Most of the cams should fall in this engagement. That is kind of the downside of the cams, because they are really good to just thrust forward, but they are all going to go down. However, Mishi might be dealing crippling damage. The owl is going to die to poison. Both owls going down, but Mishi, with those 6 chameleons, really busting through and getting a lot done. Let's see if Melvin can manage to reproduce enough of a follow-up army to hold Mishi back. But again, you've got so many Warrens. You've been building up to these big Deathball armies all game. You have to sell some things. And Melvin taking the second to go around and get the cells off. Both players actually committing to the tier 3, but as weird as it sounds, like that might not be incredibly intentional. It's just so far away to try to sell off one of those tier 3 units here. And Mishi's got all 6 cams back up and running. I think that's just what he was waiting for here. He wants that big punch through the front line. And here he comes, running in again. Really trying to get these cams to tank most of the damage and allow the squirrels and falcons to deal the DPS. But this time around, Melvin's holding strong. That skunk actually got up some really good gas here. But Mishi coming in with the follow-up. A couple of these cams still alive. One snake, though, manages to stay up, which is absolutely huge for Melvin. You know, trying to get those poison stacks on those tier 2 units. There's really a good way Melvin is going to get some value here. But keep in mind, you know, Mishi with that big front push, he knocked out a lot of farms. Both players have their owls again. Mishi's even got the 4th base up and running. And another attack is busting forward. Ooh, that owl goes down immediately. You know, Melvin really being able to utilize the snake advantage there. Great target fire. And Melvin keeps his owl for now, but loses a lot of the supporting units. Mishi's got the economic advantage here. He doesn't necessarily have to trade cost effectively, but this time around, this looks like a good army for Melvin. You know, this snake skunk style is really strong if Mishi is not able to just compile enough chameleons to just bust through there. And he's only got a few at the moment. These Falcons doing some good DPS. All the snakes are down at the moment. These pigeons really helping out too, man. Keeping the owl alive, keeping the snakes alive. Mishi wants that owl so bad, but he's not going to be able to get it. The cam's going to fall as well. Melvin's economy is starting to go down into the dumpster here. You know, losing those few farms on that third base is really painful now. Honestly, I'd like to see Mishi just sell that owl off, man. I don't think he needs it. I think he just needs to keep pushing in with Cam Falcon and winning. A little bit of lull in the action here. Both army values still pretty close. Mishi is committing to that owl. He wants to wait until that owl is up, but Melvin's not going to give him the time. He's moving in. He doesn't have a whole lot of tier 2 here. He's just got one of each pretty much on the front. He's going to back away for now. And again, man, the economies are what I'm really worried about here. Melvin needs a big victory to even this out. He needs to just steamroll Mishi's army and be able to get into the soft underbelly of his base. Start taking out Warren, start getting some bacon. The owl is here though, and I love this turret. Really gonna add a lot of DPS to this engagement. The owl is not quite on the front line just yet, but does Mishi even need it? He's pushing Melvin's forces back for now. That skunk gas is absolutely huge here. No pigeons or anything like that to help deal with that gas. And, you know, Mishi's not building too many tier 1. Again, I'd love to see some lizards out of Mishi, man. I think they'd do a really good job of getting up on top of the skunks and the snakes. But Mishi's third base is actually mined out now. Oh, this is such a sick game. Such a sick game. Mishi's got that fourth base up and running. Melvin did rebuild these farms. That's always a little painful. Actually, they still had a lot of wheat left on them, so not so bad. Melvin's working on his own fourth base, and we might stabilize. Oh, geez. But this is it, you know. In another pretty well-balanced map here. 4 bases on both sides, so it's not like, well, both players played really well, but Melvin had an extra gristmill in the end or anything like that. We're not going to see that here. So I'm pretty hyped on how this is finally going to end. And what do you invest more army into here? I wouldn't mind seeing some turrets out of Mishi on the front line, to be honest, and trying to take the fights underneath those. We're slowing down a little bit. We did stabilize. Mishi's got a little bit of an army value lead, but it's still pretty dang close. You know, Skunk Snake is a very powerful combo, especially if Melvin targets well with the poison, which he seems to be doing so far. But you just can't argue with Cam Falcon, man. I mean, it's a solid composition. Cams do so much tanking and damage. And the Falcons, of course, are glass cannon, DPS unit in the back. So really, actually, super cool to see these two styles, you know, in a punching fest like this. Mishi's gonna move in. You know, it's kind of unfortunate for Mishi. He is committing to these turrets, but at the same time, he can't really utilize them positionally yet. So, yeah, I do like to sell off on a couple. I mean, what if Mishi just built like 6 lizards, dude? Start poking the backside. Start picking off warrens here or there. Getting some damage in where he can. Owl number 2 on the way for Mishi. That could actually be huge. You know, Melvin doesn't really have much of a front line. He's just got some squirrels. He's really counting on his mice to be his front line here. So if Mishi just starts overwhelming his mice number, now all of a sudden his juicy skunks and snakes are exposed. I'd love to see these turrets a little bit more like down here as a good way to kind of vicariously pressure that 4th base. And oh man, so many falcons coming out for Mishi here. This composition looks absolutely backbreaking. If you can get up to 8 falcons with 2 owls and worth of mice and 4 cams on the front lines, and finally we see some lizards coming in from Mishi. He can really utilize these lizards in between the pushes to start just, you know, picking things off, you know, cleaning up these warrens over here, that sort of thing. Owl number 2 made it. Alright, Melvin is in some trouble here. He does have quadruple tier 2 of each of his style out on the way. Yeah, here we go. Here the lizards come in. He's only got 2 though, which is definitely less impactful than 6. And now Melvin knows that this is a possibility. He's probably surprised to see the lizards because Mishi hasn't built any all game long. Here we go, the big push here. I'm liking Mishi's army better in this engagement. And he might just be running Melvin over into a Game 4 victory here. Let's see if Melvin can barely hold on, but I think that's just too much. Mishi with a great late game win. This is a best of 9. So, Mishi not quite putting Melvin on match point just yet, but pretty soon, if he continues to win here. Ooh, we see the fox coming out of Melvin this time. Melvin's deck is looking a little bit more punchy. You know, one thing about Melvin, it's kind of his signature. He always just uses, like, squirrel and pigeon. Like every game, it's always squirrel pigeon. In the bottom, we've got Melvin Fro. And up top, Mishi. Which is kind of interesting. I mean, there's a lot of utility to be had out of those other tier 1 units. Obviously, with lizards, you can see things like we saw Mishi do a couple of games ago. Anybody watching this broadcast, I don't need to explain to you how strong moles are. But similar decks here, honestly. The only difference is Mishi opting for that mole with Melvin getting the fox. So both players going for a more punchy mid-game composition here. They want to build up to some strong armies and try to win out, which is actually kind of neat. It's almost like both players are thinking to themselves, okay, the enemy went for ultra late game comps with like Cam Falcon Owl, Skunk Snake Owl, that sort of thing. Let me switch over to a mid-game composition and try to just punch through while they're still trying to get up to that late-game comp while it's still a little weak. But it ended up both players went for that more mid-range approach. So this is going to be a really cool match. And honestly, I'm kind of hyped for Melvin here. I'd love to see a Fox game. And if Melvin does manage to get that Fox up and running, there's really nothing Mishi can do about it. You know, the best thing Mishi can do against Fox with his deck is just spam so many squirrels. Like, just ridiculous. Like, 30 squirrels, right? and just zap Brannigan, his opponent. Just keep throwing bodies at the Fox until eventually he gets it in a corner or something like that. Macro opening for Mishi, but Melvin actually spamming tier 1. And Mishi is not going to be happy when he runs in and sees there's no second base yet for Melvin, so he's kind of bracing for impact here, selling off a farm, building up those moles. He needs that extra 10 seconds from the mole warren, and here Melvin comes. Moving in for the attack. He's got a significant squirrel lead, but a little bit of awkward positioning around this wall, to be honest. Trying to micro back to where all his squirrels can attack at the same time. But really, like, this natural defense, this little choke here, was enormous for Mishi. I mean, that hold is huge. Now Mishi is just miles ahead in this game. He's got the second base up and running with 2 farms already. He's got the 3rd farm on the way. And this is horrible for Melvin. Melvin really needed to get some damage done there. He didn't have to win the game per se, but he needed to make it worth delaying his second base so much. He's going to go ahead and go into the boar. I like this. It's a bit of a Hail Mary, but Melvin knows he's behind, and when you're behind, you got to take risks. So he's taking the risk with that tier 3 unit. He's hoping to catch Mishi off guard. He's hoping Mishi is just going to be greedy and try to back up his greed with tier 1. Right? You know, Mishi's going to saturate the second base, build a whole lot of tier 1 to stay safe while doing it, and all of a sudden this boar comes in. For this deck composition, I kind of wish that was a Fox and not a boar coming out of Melvin. But, of course, Melvin can't know that Mishi really doesn't have any anti-Fox repellent spray with him. And this boar has more punch to it, right? The Fox is going to slowly win the game by bleeding your opponent out, where the boar is just going to try to come in and YOLO and just straight up end it. So, I think there's merits for both approaches. Oh, but Mishi is not messing around. This boar is not ready yet. This attack from Mishi could be devastating. Melvin really doesn't have a whole lot here to deal with this. He's only got squirrels and the skunks. The skunks are that budget boar, you know? When you're trying to be greedy and back it up with tier 1, all of a sudden your opponent's got skunks and they just run you over. Oh my god, Mishi's just gonna end this game right here, right now. Melvin desperately waiting for that boar to come out, but he's just he's taken so much gosh darn damage. Even if Melvin gets the boar, it's not gonna matter. You would have to pilot this boar not only to cleaning up this attack, but counter-attacking and winning. And the boar does do a good job against the tier 1, but you really want to use the boar offensively. Really where most of the value out of the boar comes is that additional structure damage it does. And Mishi going up to match point here. One more win and Mishi takes it. And that would mean Mishi would qualify into the semifinals, a fight against Araloo, to see who goes all the way. Really excited for that match. But let's see it, man. Melvin, he's been playing good these games. You know. And I feel like Mishi's really well practiced. I think last time I casted Mishi in the group stages, I mean, it was obvious he was just kind of showing up for the event. But, I mean, with what Mishi's been bringing out today, he at least prepared. You know, he took some time, you know, a day or two ago, I'd imagine, put in a few hours worth of grinding and made sure he was ready to roll for this. And he's playing phenomenally. Melvin can still come back, though. Let's see it. And Melvin gonna rely on that Fox. Bringing out the moles this time. You know Melvin is serious. Well, he's gonna take arguably the strongest unit. Alright, on the bottom, only needing one more win to advance, we have Mishi. And his opponent up top, fighting for his tournament life here, Melvin Fro. You know, we've had some pretty balanced matches, or maps rather, today. I like that a lot. You know, 3 bases from both sides. You can't really complain. A little bit of an aggressive map, though, but it's kind of funny because this cabin's right here in the middle. But Mishi might actually love that. Like, what I'd like to see... this looks really good for Squizzard, to be honest. You know, there's a lot of attack paths into the main. And Mishi, again, he's got that turret. So he can take this cabin, you know, expand his territory a little bit. And turret plus chameleon is a really powerful way to pressure your opponent. I don't know if we'll see that this game, but it's definitely an option. And both these players with early to mid-game decks here. You know, they've got some really strong cores. Melvin with the Fox for the late game, if we get there, or more mid-game, I should say. I'm really worried because the rush distance is so short here that it really screws up with the math on what's safe and what isn't safe, right? So typically, like an 8-farm double into an expansion is safe, but when rush distances are these close, if your opponent opens 8-farm, 4 tier 1, you know, maybe with some moles in there, he'll kill you. And I love this. Yeah, so you can see both players building up to at least 3 tier 1 before they do anything else, and that's because how short this rush distance is. You know, if you do something like an 8-farm double into a tier 2, you can just get run over. And Mishi with the lizards. Melvin probably not happy to see early game lizards. But at the same time, you know, Mishi does have this like back attack path, but it's only 1 tile thick. So many cabins on the map, actually. I didn't notice these earlier. I almost wish Mishi didn't take this gristmill. You know, now that he's got these 2 back cabins, I mean, that's just 2 farms at a 60 food reduced cost, you know, because you don't have to build a mill. So Mishi probably kicking himself for that. But at the same time, it does give some weird information to Melvin, because he comes in and sees, oh, he's got no farms. He did scout that campfire, but, you know, Mishi's actually got 2 farms additional to his 8 on the main here. And that could really mess with Melvin. Not realizing his economy is as behind as it is. And Mishi going up to this, oh, I love it. I was going to say, I'd love to see double cams here. You know, I really think this comp from Mishi is going to steamroll what Melvin's got. But all these moles, Melvin's not messing around, and maybe these campfires and this gristmill were too much. Mishi does have the turrets to help deal with this, but the moles are going to be able to slam dunk on those turrets very quickly. Yeah, Mishi desperately sells off one of those cam horns, trying to get out more tier 1 here. Oh, this attack from Melvin can be huge. This could be devastating. And here we go. Mishi's going to come in. He wants these lizards to get on top of the skunks and knock them out ASAP. The skunks go down, but one of them still remains. I thought I saw 2 die. And Melvin is going to hold, and he keeps the 1 skunk alive. He's got the pigeons here to heal everything up nice and quick. But this is still good for Mishi. He's got the 2 farm lead. You know, Melvin needs more damage. But I think with these turrets here, Mishi is just fine. This is actually starting to become pretty bad for Melvin. He's doubling down here. He's building more moles. He's got to get something done with this attack. And I like this. Go ahead and just build some farms. You know, maybe if he sells off these moles and just goes into economy, that's probably the right play. Because, I mean, these 2 turrets here, man, that is super rough to attack into. Even with moles, dealing with those pretty quickly. Mishi trying to give him the old run around with the lizards, but not going to commit. He actually might get caught here if he's not careful. Ooh, he's going to take some serious losses. Actually, just a couple lizards. Not so bad. Alright, this is what Melvin needed, though. He needed that big explosion of farms. So many lizards here from Mishi. And has Mishi scouted the amount of farm? Actually, he hasn't. Like, Mishi is starting to fall behind in this game economically. You know, the 5-minute mark came and went. Main bases are starting to mine out here. I like this flank he's trying to set up with the lizards. And he's going to move in. Cam's coming in from the backside here. The moles do a pretty okay job against tanking against the lizards, but that is just it, and Melvin is gonna tap Mishi with a decisive 5-1 victory here. Congratulations to Mishi for advancing onwards to the semifinals. Big congratulations there to Mishi, taking that best of 9 series 5-1. And we're gonna hop into the next round here in just a second. So just waiting 1 second. I think they are actually watching the rest of the stream. I am on a little bit of a delay, guys. I prefer to do that for live tournament matches. So give these guys 1 second. I might as well set up the scoreboard. Those will be beginners. Best of 7. And we are going to have Boomer and Kin. Dude, I am loving this tool from Dizon. It is so, so good. Okay. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. As always, it's always a ton of fun to hang out and cast some games with you guys, man. I really enjoy it. Don't forget, as usual, keep sending me replays, guys. ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. Any games you have that you think are cool or fun, or that you're proud of, whatever else, send them on in. And Friday night, we're gonna get Gentleman. We're gonna have the Gentlecast. He's coming on to talk about his new event coming up. So that's going to be really exciting. The Magnificent 21. I think it's the 7th season, man. Just waiting 1 more second for our new player to get it in here. And I'm excited. Let's see if I can pull up like the beginner's bracket or something like that while we wait. Dude, Boomer's giving me a heart attack over here. Changing his commander so much. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, final stage. Okay, so we're just starting the quarterfinals, it looks like, for the Beginners League. It looks like Ken's in here. We just need Mishi to get out of here. Mishi. Mishi, go away. Alright, we're just gonna have to create a new lobby. One second. Alright. So we got it in. Oh yeah, I did miss, I wonder if I could set that up. Sorry, Mocha. I didn't set all those things up, which is a shame because those do look really good. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I might be able to swag it up. Let me see. Oh, whoops. They're probably waiting on me. Oh, sick. Sick. Alright. Alright, I got the other one too coming. 1 second. Oh, they're not like the same size though. Just kind of make them look like the same size. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Alright, alright. What if I just duplicate this and say, like, lobby? And then on this one, you turn it off. So look at that. Look how fancy we look now. Bam. Alright. They're probably waiting on me because they are good players. Very cool. But is it going to auto-update, is my question. I guess we'll find out right here, because I can change this. It looks like we have Boomer red and Ken blue. Oh, it does. Oh, that's so sick, you guys. Okay. Looks like the players are coming in now. Oh yeah, I love this tool design, man. My only thing, I did say on Discord, but dude, if you could make this like more modular so I could use it for other events, you know, like maybe I can just like type in someone's name or something like that, dude, I will use it forever. It's so good. Okay, guys, a little bit of lag coming into this, but on the bottom right, we've got Ken. His opponent at the top left, Boomer. Ooh, Ken with a spicy deck here. I like it, man. Ferret, lizard, mine. Really cool. That's fun because the lizards can help you get the map advantage you need to really start utilizing the ferrets, and then you can kind of bait your opponent into walking into mines while they chase the ferrets. A little bit of mole shenanigans here from Boomer. And decides to take it home. Forces a couple mines out of his opponents. And yeah, let's see where it goes. You know, both these guys work hard. You know, they play ladder. When I am active, I kind of come in and out of being active on the ladder. You know, but when I am, man, I always run into Boomer, and he puts up some good matches. Kane actually with a very, very quick gristmill here, but I don't think it's going to be punished. And I'm a little bit excited for Ken's deck here. I'd love to see this come together and work, you know, but at the same time, Boomer is running a more standard approach, something a little more tried and true. And I think Ken's gonna have some problems if this actually gets to the late game. He does have the snakes, which can doof down on that badger, but with the pigeon support, it's easier said than done. You know, if Boomer is just kind of left alone and is able to build up to that big skunk, falcon, badger, pigeon army, it's gonna be hard for Ken to deal with. But Ken's got a lot of opportunity to really get something done in the mid-game here with these ferrets. You know, Boomer doesn't have anything that's really, really strong against ferrets. He doesn't have lizards, he doesn't have snakes, he doesn't even have... Well, he does have falcons, so that is something. He can try to push the ferrets back with the falcons, but that's about it. So far, a little bit of a nice and calm early game. We're just kind of shifting pretty greedily into the mid game here, to be honest. Both players getting some nice saturation on those second bases just off the back of a couple tier 1 warrens. And here comes the ferrets from Ken here. Ooh, nice scout from Boomer, but doesn't quite get deep enough to see that tier 2 building. So yeah, this is gonna be cool, man. I'm curious to see if Ken can get something done with these ferrets. You know, that's the big thing I'm hyped for this game, and he really needs to. Really needs to, because otherwise I'm real worried once Boomer gets rolling with the Badger. And how greedy are we gonna be? Are we gonna get third bases going? Yeah, Ken's trying to get into this owl too. I'm not sure if that's the right approach. Oh, Boomer with the great scout here sees everything. And I'm sure he'd be just happy to throw down a Badger. There it is. So these ferrets are here. Let's see if Ken can get anything done, but I don't think he can, to be honest. I think he needed to put that owl money into like lizards or something in mines, you know, to get the most out of these ferrets. And that window that Ken had to get something done with this ferret harassment is just slowly starting to close. You know, once Boomer gets to this late game composition he's putting together, you know, I really think it's just going to steamroll what Ken's got here. You know, Ken would need some really solid micro with the snakes onto the Badger, really good engagement, and it could happen, but this is beginners league, you know, so I don't expect that, but we could see it, and I'm still worried because even if he does get the snake poison on the Badger, you know, the Badger's got pigeons. I think you would really need like 4 snakes to overcome that pigeon healing. So I think once this Badger's done for Boomer, he just slams down on the mole key and he moves out. Ken's got a nice little army here though. But with these ferrets, you really want to get harassment. They're kind of like the budget fox, you know? You want to try to get something done in between matches, or in between fights. This is a lot of mines coming down though. However, the Badger is here. And maybe Ken's got a chance if he stacks poison on this Badger. If he's able to bait the Badger into the minefield. Ooh, these mines can be huge. These mines. Oh my god, the Badger is so low. Ken with the mad mine play here. His owl does go down, but he's knocking out the rest of Boomer's army. Oh my god, Ken is going to win on the back of some really good mines by the looks of it, but so far this Badger's still alive, and there is no snake poison on. 2 stacks of snake poison go on the Badger goes down. Both armies are in shamble, though. However, Ken really won a fight that he shouldn't have because of those good mines. So that's pretty hype. Is it going to be enough, though? These armies still kind of muscling for dominance here. A little bit of back and forth. And it looks like we kind of evened out. Ken with the cell on the owls and on the ferrets here. Gonna build up a lot of lizards. He's got so many squirrels. I think that might be too many squirrels when your opponent's got skunks. I'd like to see more of an even squirrel-lizard mix, because lizards are actually really good against like everything Boomer has. Boomer pushing Ken back for now. Yeah, I really just think he needs more lizards in here, man. They're not as susceptible to the skunk gas. They do really good against all the tier 2. But Boomer managed to get another Badger out. And I'm not so sure if there's anything Ken can do about this. Boomer with the aquatic attack. Here it comes, that Badger soaking up some damage on the front line, but it's got a lot of pigeons to heal it back up, and there's just nothing Ken can do. The first game going to Boomer when, you know, Ken almost had something there. That was really cool, seeing all those mines. Oh wait, and then I can do that. Bam! Look at that. Look how cool that is. I like how his name's Boomer, but he's a zoomer. The zoomer Boomer. Let's see what these guys want to go for. Ken opting for the same deck here. Boomer thinking about what he wants to bring out in game number 2. Alright, looks like the players are ready. Let's hop on into it. Match number 2 here. In the bottom, we've got Ken Replica. His opponent to the left. Boomer the Zoomer. Alright. I'll stop. I think it's funny. Okay. Different deck from Boomer this time around. He's got the snakes and boar and wire in there. And this map, it's alright, I guess, you know? Well, I think that's okay for Ken. You got 3 bases right here. It's definitely better for Boomer, right? If you split it down the middle, more mills get on Boomer's side of the map, but, you know, 9 times out of 10, then it's really not a big deal. So let's see what we got this game. Probably gonna go into some 8-farm doubles. The map is actually nice and big, to the point where you might be able to get away with like greedy openings. But man, I want to see Ken be a little more aggressive with these ferrets, you know. They're really the kind of unit you want to build and then really harass your opponent with. Yeah, and Ken opening 8-farm mill into 1 tier 1, so pretty greedy. But I think on this map, that's fine. And a little bit more of a standard second base timing from Boomer. Going into the 8-farm double first. And Ken actually being super greedy. Going up to 3 farms on that second base on the back of just 1 Lizard Warren. 4 even. Man, I just got some crazy deja vu. It's weird. Weird when that happens. Good scout from Boomer, though, and he was able to kind of match suit on the farms. Ken's going to get in. Some good scouting so far. Both players being quite greedy here. Tier 2 on the way for Ken. And yeah, Boomer's not messing around. He's coming in with the moles. This could be a deadly attack. Not a lot of squirrels to back it up, but since Ken is playing very, very greedy. You know, he's got the ferrets on the way, and he doesn't have a whole lot here to defend, but these moles actually not able to get up on the Warrens. Good job from Ken, but one Warren does eventually fall. And this is where the damage can really start compounding. And this Ferret is not going to be that clutch tier 2 unit that comes out and really makes a huge difference in the fight. But Boomer's backing off. Gets a lot of damage done, but now I'm worried, again, as we've seen in previous matches today, like the tempo hit Boomer is going to take from selling those Warrens, and now he's got a bunch of money. He's got to desperately rebuild stuff. Maybe this is an opportunity for Ken to come in and get some counter damage done. Overall, a pretty good hold from Ken. I mean, it's rough nowadays when you get mole attacked. You're almost always going to at least lose, like, a Warren. So, I think all things considered, that went pretty okay. Boomer going to move in, but right into the mines. I love this Ferret mine style, dude. Really cool. And this might actually be too much damage. You know, Boomer took a lot of hits on those mines. And Ken desperately trying. He's getting a couple pigs, but he's overextending with the Ferrets. He loses his commander. And Boomer is going to be able to just run in here and counterattack so hard. Bit of a misplay there from Ken. Got a little bit too greedy. Losing the Ferrets. Losing the commander. Is he going to be able to hold off this counter aggression from Boomer? And again, the one Ferret is already back up, but you know it's not going to impact this fight the same way like a Chameleon or a Skunk would. But Ken does hold. Loses a couple farms, but he actually got a lot of damage in here. You know, he killed 3 farms. He might have killed some Warrens too. Boomer does not want a new minefield to get laid down. He runs in. Ken is going to have to back up. Alright, Boomer trying to work into some snakes. You know, if Ken starts getting more damage in with these Ferrets, you know, hitting down some tier 1 in between the engagements, you know, knocking out some farms, gonna bait him again into these mines, but not as big of a deal as previously. Ken is starting to take it, though. Getting a lot of damage in. Boomer needs to go back and recuperate a little bit. I think the snakes are a little too greedy here. Does actually manage to get one building by selling off a Mole Warren. But I think Ken is slowly starting to get enough to bust through here. More farms going down. Mole Warrens start to fall as well. And this Ferret mine strategy is starting to work. Even if these Ferrets go down, they've gotten so much damage done. Boomer trying to get together whatever he can. Yeah, I love the sell on the Ferrets. I love the lizards too. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. And Boomer is just kind of out of this game. He doesn't realize it yet, but he's only got this fledgling army. He's starving. Those Ferrets were able to deal so much damage in that attack, and you know he's probably going to have to tap out here shortly. Trying to micro this snake as best he can, but losing everything here, realizing how much Ken still got. Ken fights back in game number 2 and ties this up 1-1. Alright. Let's see what the players decide to go for in game 3. Ken rocked the same deck 2 times in a row, so this just might be the deck that he's got prepared, which has the benefit of, you know, you're really well practiced with it, but at the same time, if Boomer can download what Ken is doing here, you can begin to hard counter. I'd like to maybe see some lizards out of Boomer. Help deal with the Ferrets. Here we go, guys. Match number 3. Down at the bottom, we've got Boomer. And his opponent to the top right, Ken Replica. Yeah, Boomer's got a pretty strong comp here. I always like to see Cam, Falcon, Wolf. Ooh, Ken. 4-farm double. That's huge. Boomer hasn't scouted his opponent yet, I don't think. Oh, he did, but he just saw regular opening, so he's just now going to see that he's going to be under some pressure here. And all Ken needs is 2 lizards. 2 lizards are enough to come in and pick off a corner pin. And here they come. Ken's just got to execute this right. He's still got the time. Beautiful. And then just get out of there. Oh, he was trying to kill that mole too. He actually got it. He's going to keep the pressure on. I think he should have waited for 4 lizards there, or even the full 6. So that was a bit of a greedy follow-up there. Kind of evening it out a bit. I think if Ken ran away after killing that first farm, and then like waited for the full 6 to come back in, that would have been the right way to go about it. But Boomer sees Ken sold off a Warren and is just trying to get back into macroing up. Like this, Ken knows it was a little bit greedy to sell that Warren, builds a few mines there to try to compensate in case there's a counterattack from Boomer, but no attack is coming out. So I'd love to see him maybe sell those mines. Perfect. Let's see how the game evolves from here. Overall, I think it kind of balanced out. Like, yeah, Ken got the farm, but then he ended up losing quite a few lizards. So yeah, we're pretty even in food, I feel like. It's always nice to see players rocking a 4 or 5 farm double, though, in big series like this. If your opponent's not careful, you can just straight up lose. And sometimes I'm greedy, you know? When I play, I'll like find the opponent, see that they're alright, and it's like, oh, I just want to get the lay of the land. He's not going to rush me, and then the one time you do that, they rush you. Oh, these lizards getting in right before the barbed wire. Nice clutch cells there from Boomer. This barbed wire is actually really rough for Ken. He doesn't have moles, he doesn't have chameleons. Doesn't have any real cost-effective way to deal with that until the owls get up and running. Big eco lead from Ken here. I'm worried, however, because if Boomer gets up to these 4 cams and then just pushes in, I mean, Ken just might not have anything. And I think Boomer doesn't need as much of this barbed wire as he thinks he does. Here comes Ken on the side looking for an exposed farm on the second base. But not going to be happy when he sees nothing of the sort there. Actually committing his lizards to take out this mill, that was a bit of a mistake there, and yeah, this is looking real bad. Boomer, I feel like Boomer just pushes out with the 4 cams and wins. You know, Ken put so much money into that second base. These mines are real good against cams, though. You know, especially positioned like that. Boomer is not going to wait for more cams, and actually a bit of a micro mistake here from Boomer, losing a lot of his units. Damn. That is super rough. His chameleons are stuck back here. Oh, they unstealth. No, you gotta stealth them. Oh my god. This just got really, really good for Kim. Boomer dragged his army too far, took so much damage. Boomer with just so many squirrels here. Holy moly. With some guacamole. Ken's got that second base up and running. His economy is way ahead. And cams are good, but when you just outnumber your opponent, you know. Kin doesn't even have to be cost effective. His economy's so far ahead. If he can just pressure Boomer and he can delay Boomer from building second base farms, he's fine. Real bad engagement there for Kin, though. However, since he's just on tier 1, he's going to be able to rebuild his army very, very quickly. Alright, Boomer moving in. 4 cams is so much, and there's no mines here to help out. There are mines, but not in the attack pattern of Boomer. A couple of those mines do detonate. Lots of damage going down on these warrants. But again, you know, this looks rough for Kin, but it's really not, because he's got the second base up and running. So Kin can trade. He can even trade negatively. He actually ends up cleaning all of this up, and I mean, that should just be it. You know, Boomer can't rebuild those 4 cams anytime soon. He's probably gonna have to sell them off. No, he really wants those chameleons back, but he's not gonna have time as this big Squizzard counterattack from Kin is coming out here. Chameleon going down. Boomer fighting back, but I think Kin is just gonna eventually overrun this, and again, you know, Boomer's just barely mining. Does he know about the set? Yeah, he knows Kin's got that second base. And that second base is really just in full production right now, you know. It's already bought and paid for itself, you know. It's way beyond the point of being a risk. Does 1 HP snake get him in the water? Yeah. Boomer is just gonna get overwhelmed here. And we'll be hopping into match number 4. Boomer going down with the ship. Nice victory there for Kin. Okay. Same deck from Kin, man. This is the deck. This is the one he's prepared for. And again, you know, it's got the advantage of you being well practiced with it, but if Boomer can figure it out, it's gonna be in real tough shape here. And here we go, guys. Match number 4 in the bottom, we've got Boomer. And starting to pull ahead in the series, up top, Kin Replica. Okay. Boomer actually going for the mines this time. Kin, a little bit of faux aggression. Just trying to mind game his opponent a little bit. But this can be rough because you force this reaction out of your opponent, and all of a sudden, if you try to go up to 8 farms, you're going to get ran over. But Kin does win this early game dance since he snuck out a farm, and Boomer was not able to. Boomer gonna come in and sell. Yeah, a lot of little just mind games, a little, you know, trying to get the one up on your opponent here in the early. Let's see what ends up happening here. Kin thinking about moving out. Or at least pushing his units forward. He doesn't really have a squirrel advantage, but maybe if Boomer's squirrels aren't in the right spot, he can come in here and sneak a pig. That looks like what is going to happen. Taking some serious commander damage, getting out at 1 HP. Oh my god, and he barely gets the pig. Nicely done, but does Boomer counterattack? That's the question. And these are... This building pig is the one I'm worried about because it has less HP. But no, Boomer is not moving. He is moving now, but He really had to move like immediately, you know, because just those few seconds actually really matters for how many squirrels you have versus your opponents. Oh, but Boomer going for a bit of an all-in here, building up the moles as well, and I'm not sure if this is gonna work out. You know, Ken's got his Warrens in the back, which is great against mole harassment. And not only that, but Ken's even managed to sneak out his farms a little bit faster. And he's got the mines here. So these moles, they don't do that bonus damage to pigs, only building farms. Oh, Boomer's commander is getting so low it does go down. He does manage to kill a couple pigs though. But the rest of this will get cleaned up by Ken. So overall, that went better for Boomer than I thought it would. You know, picking off 2 pigs, pretty good. Lots of pre-8 farm action in this game. Really cool to see. We're still not at 8 farm saturation on the first base. 3 minutes in. It's crazy. There we go. Ken gonna go ahead and queue up that 8th farm. He's got 9 squirrels here. Looking to get, looking for a little action. Trying to see if it's worth it to run in or not. But Boomer's got a solid defense here. Ken is gonna try to commit, but this is not gonna work out. Boomer takes a nice victory there. He's gonna chase Ken back and get a lot of damage in. And Boomer's thinking about pushing the issue. Gonna move forward. He knows Ken doesn't have a whole lot of squirrels right now. He's gonna get a lot of damage done. 3 pigs at the very least. Maybe even a 4th. Oh no, he doesn't focus down this pig to the west. It's so low. Alright, 3 pigs though. Still pretty good. Ken maybe thinking about a tier 2. No, it goes into some lizards. Really action-packed game here. Boomer getting that tier 2 though, and a chameleon is definitely a good one to have when it's so punchy like this. All right, Boomer ready for the next round. He's moving up. Lots of tier 1 here. I like to see him wait for his cams. I mean, he did commit the money to him. Might as well have him. But I guess he'll have him on the next attack. Gonna move in, trying to keep this pressure on his opponent. Kills another farm. 2 pigs go down, and this is just too much damage. I think Ken is on his way to a loss here. You know, once Boomer does a follow-up of both these cams, you know, and this makes sense from Ken. This is like his only chance, like follow up and get something done on a counter attack. But now that these 2 chameleons are out in play, and I love this flank attack too. Yeah, nice job by Ken here. Gonna get some counter damage in. But he just can't compete with this army from Boomer with the chameleons out. And once he sees the chameleons, it's probably enough to tap out. There it is, Boomer tying things up. Very action-packed, back and forth game there. Boomer coming out on top. we're hopping into the next round here. Tied up 2-2. This is a best of 7. Some pretty close matches so far. Again, same deck from Ken here. We've got in the bottom, Boomer 549. His opponent up top, Ken Replica. Yeah, it's kind of neat, you know, Ken playing the same deck and Boomer making adjustments every game. This time around, he's got Lizards in the mix. Is this going to be another action-packed, quick one? Or will we get into a little bit more of a late game here? You know, Ken's got an okay late game deck, you know, between the Snakes and the Owls. It's pretty good, but again, you can't argue with Camp Falcon, man. Both of those units stack really, really well into the late game. Even without stuff like the Wolf, they're still very strong. So maybe we're gonna have some 8 farm openings here. Boomer maybe going for the mole. Looks like he might be getting dirty. I actually would have preferred it on that little tile because the mole is quite far away from that building farm. But he might be able to get over there. Yeah, he's got to walk around a little bit. No, he's not. This is a very sharp timing. And he just didn't quite have enough time to knock out that building pig. So, bit of a blunder there from Boomer. What does happen? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And Ken's already got some Lizards up and running. So these 2 Lizards probably going to be able to pick off corner pig here, get some bacon. Ooh, and Boomer's out and about on the map, not able to sell it. One pig goes down. The second one is a little bit too ambitious, but Ken realizes that. Loses 1 Lizard for his arrogance there, but manages to get out with 1 as well. Gonna keep this Lizard pressure on. I like this. You know, keep slamming down that Lizard key. Get up to about 9 of them or something. You know, and especially Boomer goes for a tier 2. No, he's just putting some tier 1 up on that high ground. Trying to confuse his opponent a little bit as to what he's actually building. Yeah, a little bit of running around so far, but yeah, I'm excited. Ken's got his Lizard count up and running. And Boomer is committing to some Chameleons, so if the Chameleons do get out, Boomer's going to be in great shape, but, I mean, he doesn't have a lot to defend these Lizards right now. It's a shame Ken didn't try to bob up that West Hill. Could have immediately knocked out that tier 2 Warren. Ooh, that's a nice little spot for a couple mines. Alright, Ken's pushing in. Gonna get a pig. I think he probably could have hung out a little bit longer in there, but pulls back. I think that was okay. You know, especially because he did get that pig knockout, but I like this composition Boomer's putting together better. You know, cams are so good against Lizards. And Ken's got the second base up and running, though. He has been really good about that in this series. You know, getting ahead on economy. But, you know, this attack move from Boomer, I mean, this might just run Ken over. And he's probably happy to see this second base up and running. But you need to be careful about that Gristmill tanking too much damage. And here come those cams getting up into the battle. Actually, Ken cleans this up quite nicely. He did a good job of using his Lizards to mainly deal with the rest of the army while the squirrels shot down that cam. One of those farms does fall, but Boomer losing both of those Chameleons there is absolutely huge. And now Ken realizes where this kind of exposed tier 2 Warren is and takes it out, and this might be too much damage for Boomer. That last attack really did not go his way. That Gristmill took a lot of tanking there. And this might be the killing blow. Too much damage is starting to come out here for Ken. Pulls back for now. But again, Ken's got that second base up and running. He took out that tier 2 Warren. He's killed these farms over and over and over. Good, thorough scouting here from Ken. Just making sure there's nothing crazy going on. There's no tier 3. There's no more tier 2 Warrens. He's just gonna take this fight. You know, Ken's got the better economy, so he can afford to take these engagements, even if he's not super cost effective. He's just trying to bleed Boomer out. He knows Boomer can't keep this up as much as he does, and all he needs is a few seconds where Boomer just doesn't have the units to come in and get some more bacon. I think Boomer's just gonna have to tap after losing that farm. Gonna fight on, you know, this is a tournament match. There it is. Ken going up to match point. Let's see if Boomer can figure it out. Ken's been playing the same comp every game, but you know, these past couple games, the comp really hasn't mattered too much. It's just really been a lot of aggression here. Boomer scratching his head, trying to figure out what exactly the composition is going to be here. But again, guys, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I think Snetch is going to keep casting after my broadcast is over, so if you're still hungry for some more Tooth and Tail matches, there will be some more tournament matches cast on his channel afterwards. Alright, Boomer decides to go with the board this game. And I gotta do that. There we go. Alright, guys, spawning up top. One match away for moving forward. We've got Ken. And his opponent to the right needs 2 wins in a row here to keep his tournament hopes alive. Boomer. And I like the board call. You know, if you can sneak out that board in these really tier 1 heavy games, you can just win outright with it. Ooh, maybe Boomer's thinking about doing something. 5 farm squirrel here. Close rush distances. I like this map a bit better for Boomer. He's got 3 nice bases up here on the double high. And Ken's got some nice natural defense here. Oh my god, this is actually crazy good for Ken. Imagine, you know, Boomer's starting to build over here, and then Ken can utilize this spot right here with his ferrets. Oh, dude. Oh, man. Please let us see that. I don't know if that's quite got the range, but that would be so cool to see. That would be so impressive. And Ken's really got to get out on the map to expand here. You know, he's got his one natural, you know, in a reasonable spot. Some expansions coming down, so maybe this one's not going to be as down and dirty and fast. Maybe this one's going to be a little more of a slow burn here. This is kind of a large map. I just want to see ferrets attacking from right there. Can we just leave the camera right here and wait? Wait until there's ferrets. Boomer moving in with the scout. Gonna see that second base. Gonna see a couple farms rock and rolling. Meanwhile, Ken gets a pretty good read on his opponent too. Boomer probably gonna come home, build another farm or two. Or no, maybe he's gonna go straight to tier 2. Yeah, there's a couple extra farms. I think Ken is just trying to make sure he's not pulling a fast one on him. Which he is. Sells those off, builds some more tier 1. He's floating a lot of money here. Maybe he wants to dunk all that into some mines and moles. And I'm not sure if this mole attack's gonna work. I think Boomer needs a few more squirrels to really make this happen. But Ken scouts it immediately, sells off the ferrets. He's probably gonna build into some lizards or additional squirrels. Tier 1 either way. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work from Boomer. Looks like he's committing. But Ken with a really good reaction here. Oh, but Boomer loses his commander. Absolutely savage. He's gonna get a Warren. Oh my god, that mine hit was just huge though. Killed so many moles. Wow, that was really bad for Boomer. Ken scouted it early, responded to it correctly. He did lose a Warren, but like I said, I mean, that just kind of happens. You're going to lose a Warren against a mole push. But he cleans this up so well. Boomer even losing some of those mole Warrens, and Ken racing across the map with a ton of squirrels here. Just going to try to end this game here and now and advance into the semifinals. Let's see if Ken can get it done. Boomer desperately trying to build whatever he can, but he just does not have the number of Warrens that you're going to need to be able to produce fast enough to deal with this. This gristmill in the way does slow down Ken a little bit, but you know, Boomer did commit a lot there, so that's 240 more food down the drain. Boomer desperately trying to build those mole Warrens as they do make that tier 1 unit instantly out of it. But this is just too much damage, and it looks like Ken is going to advance into the semifinals here of the beginner's bracket. Really fun series here. Both players doing well. Some nice aggressive games, but Ken manages to take it in the end. Congratulations to Ken, and congratulations to Mishi for advancing earlier on. And guys, that is it for me. I had a great time streaming today. I hope everyone else had a good time as well. I believe Snetch is going to start streaming some additional matches here shortly. Don't forget to keep sending me replays, ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. And speaking of replay casting, on Friday, I'm going to have special guest, the gentleman, come on to the feast and talk to us about his next event coming up, the Magnificent 21. So GG, WeP, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And y'all take it easy.